Já estamos de volta e tem muita coisa ainda pela frente. E vamos começar revelando o potencial da neurotecnologia para todos no planeta. E agora com você, Max Newlon, empreendedor e presidente da Brainco. Bem-vindo, Max!
Hi, everybody, and welcome to my talk on Brainco. Brainco is a neurotechnology company based in Boston, Massachusetts, that is working towards unlocking the potential of this entire industry and field to help every single person on the planet. During my talk today, I'm going to explain a little bit about the company itself and the different technologies, platforms, and industries that we develop in. The purpose is to show you how wide and broad neurotechnology companies can be and how they can plug into existing industries and even start new industries. So let's jump in. So, like I mentioned, my name is Max. I'm the president of Brainco USA. I joined the company about 6 years ago. And before that was working in different fMRI research labs, investigating the impact of meditation and yoga on the brain, as well as working in some other labs that were studying how invasive neurotechnology, deep brain stimulation surgery in particular, affect different medical populations, like people with Parkinson's disease. After I went to grad school, joined this great company, and it's been a wild ride ever since. So the company got its start in the Harvard Innovations Lab, like I mentioned, about 6 years ago. And when I joined them, there were about 15 people. Now we've expanded quite a bit. We have offices around the world, and we develop technologies in a variety of industries, primarily, though, in prosthetics, education, and mental health and wellness. Though, while I'll explain our applications and the work that we do in these different industries, I think it's really interesting and important to view it through the lens of how neurotechnology can integrate into a variety of different settings, work with a variety of different users, and provide value in all these different ways. And so, whether you are in the neurotechnology space, and maybe this gives you some clues or ideas of where you want to focus, or if you're not in the neurotechnology space, it will give you a sense of how this technology can help augment the work that you do or that different people in your industry do using the advances that are being developed in neurotechnology. So, the first space that I want to take you guys through is our work in prosthetics. Um, After our initial prototyping of some of our first ever neurotechnology, we realized we could apply our expertise in signal processing to the prosthetic space. So, similarly to how we may process the signals coming from the brain for applications that use EEG technology, we're able to process signals from the muscles using EMG sensors. And because our background was in this really advanced signal processing, we were able to put together control systems and algorithms that give users control over individual finger movements, which is an industry first. So we have users now who are able to use their problem very, very naturally. The interesting thing is that we have redesigned this technology now to be even more user friendly. And this is, I think, a really interesting lesson for the neurotechnology space. You can design the most advanced product that can do these really incredible things. But at the end of the day, what matters? That you're building something that people really want to use and add a lot of value to their lives. So we do have some users using the individual finger control, but it takes a little bit more training than if you want to kind of plug and play with your prosthetic hand, put it on really simply, and have really easy control for the things that you're going to do in your daily life. So we have both versions now, and we're going to start selling this in about a couple months in the United States. So we're really excited about the progress in this prosthetic space. I think it's an interesting example of how you can take your expertise in one area of neurotechnology and bring it into other areas, established industries, and like the prosthetic space, which has been around for a very long time, and provide new types of value to different customers. So the prosthetic hand is also a really great example of how neurotechnology can have a real impact on people's lives and creating the most convenient. Yeah. So we won some great awards for our work in the prosthetic space, which is, of course, really validating and rewarding. I've been featured by some different publications, which is always great. But what we figured out was we could take the same technology prosthetic industry. So I think maybe this trend is emerging now that you guys are picking up on, where technologies can span industries. You can find new use cases for neurotechnology in different spaces. And in this case, we jump from prosthetics to education. So we use some of our earlier versions of the prosthetic hand to teach students about prosthetics and neurotechnology, to teach them about this space and line up those hands-on learning experiences with the curriculum and lessons that they need to be accomplishing anyways, but through the lens of a real-world application of technology. So instead of playing with robots and toys, they get to build and program a version of a real prosthetic hand that's used with real customers. So we're able to create a lifelike learning experience using our neurotechnology. So we started with just the build of the hand and put together some simple lessons, and now we have uh, a variety of lessons and curricula that span across different technology, engineering, mathematics, and science. And we work with hundreds of schools to help thousands of students learn about neuroscience and learn about neurotechnology through the lens of the real world products that we're selling through brain robotics. So this entire umbrella of our education focus is called Neuromaker. And one thing that we've had to do is split the brands. Originally, everything was under Brainco, and it was actually confusing for our customers, rightfully so. You know, you're doing prosthetics or you're doing education. So by splitting the brands and having a specific website, specific focus, specific messaging, even the way we structure the company, a specific team to go after this market was an important decision to make sure we could effectively uh, target and provide value to our customers. So that might be another lesson as it relates to the neurotechnology space. And I think this is true for startups and true for emerging industries, that it takes this development time to really hone in on how you want to be doing business for a particular space. The other platform that we use in Neuromaker is our EEG technology with our headband. So I'll play a little video here. And the headband technology we use in a variety of our business units. So Neuromaker is one. I'll go on to explain another one in just a little while. And the powerful or efficient thing is being able to use these platforms across industries. So here's another example, right? So we have the prosthetic, able to use similar technology in the education space. We have this headband platform that we use in our brain training Focus Calm business unit, which I'll describe next. And we're also able to use that same headband in the Neuromaker education division. And for our customers, it means they can get access to both products with the same hardware. And for this one in particular, we focus on really similar to the Neuromaker hand with the Neuromaker BCI headband. We focus on teaching students about neuroscience, about developing these types of products, what it looks like. They have to create their own algorithms, their own projects, using this headband technology and the different data that we're able to collect, the different EEG data that we're able to collect. And again, it gives a hands-on learning experience. But I'll just point out again this kind of theme of using platforms or technologies across different industries and finding where that value is has been something that's been really rewarding for our company. And as it relates to using the headband as a platform for a variety of applications, our partnership with Somos, which maybe some of you are familiar with, is another great example. So using our technology and pairing it with an existing platform to create more value for the end user. So Somos has this incredible online learning platform, and by pairing it with the headband, we're able to create an even more engaging experience for learners. So right now we're strategizing this idea of focus rooms to help students learn the skills of relaxation and focus so they can feel better, they can be more efficient throughout their day, and they can learn about this idea of being able to sit in the driver's seat of their mindset. And when you can do that, when you can develop this skill, then all different types of things open up to you. When you feel like you're in control of being able to direct your attention and also be able to downregulate and relax when you want to, has wonderful implications for mental health and wellness, as well as learning outcomes. So I think the partnership with Somos is really exciting because we're able to use our existing technology, pair it with another existing platform or technology, and now add more value for the end user. So if you're a neurotechnology company, you've probably thought of this, but if you're going after your own application for a particular industry, there may be opportunities to use your technology to help other companies as well without making too many changes. And the important thing to make this deal work was ease of use. So when you are developing for any industry or any customer, of course, you need to be thinking about ease of use and how you make the product or the solution or the experience as seamless as possible. And we are lucky that Somos and the leadership there is really forward thinking and understands innovation and can see the vision of how this technology can help potentially millions of students. So when I guess I'll give another comment or lesson here. When you're looking for partnerships, of course, finding that alignment is going to be really key for long-term success. So we're really excited about this partnership. Okay, now the third business unit or division that I'll talk about is Focus Comm. So we talked about the prosthetics, we talked about the education space with Neuromaker, and now I'll cover our application in the mental health space. And again, the purpose of showing you all these applications is to illustrate a point, which is that neurotechnology can span multiple industries, right? This kind of core concept of understanding yourself, understanding the brain better, understanding the human body better, being able to measure things that used to be invisible to measurement or to being able to understand. When you can achieve those things, all these new types of applications start to emerge in a variety of industries. And it's actually been one of our strategic initiatives to make sure that we don't get too excited about too many applications and really focus on the ones that we feel we can deliver the most value in. So another pointer would be to really think through, where do you want to focus? Where do you want to um, put your attention and your resources, and make sure it's the highest leverage thing that you and your team can focus on. Particularly in a new industry that's developing, it's very easy to get pulled in a variety of directions. There seems like there's so many opportunities, and there are, but it's really important that you focus on the ones that matter most to you, that matter most to your customers, and the ones that you can execute best on. So I'll take you through our platform that we call FocusCom. Oops. So just a quick primer on EEG, if this is a new concept to people who are joining this conference, maybe not from the neurotechnology space, but we are measuring passively the electrical activity that your brain's constantly producing, and these signals make their way to your scalp and are traditionally measured using a device like you see on the left, which is really great for greater spatial resolution. So different areas, trying to measure information from different areas of from the head or from the brain activity, and really important for research stages. So we actually started our company with devices like this to really understand the brain better when we were doing our research. So using existing technologies to get a basic understanding of where we want to focus, where the sensors should go, uh, and also as a gold standard for different measurements. Then we were able to pick the places that were most important to us for our applications and design our products around those specific applications. So taking a look at the EEG data that you can see here, those different traces, what we have done is, in addition to simplifying the form factor, we also simplified the way that we do um, our algorithm. And so by simplify, I mean the information that we give to the user, but actually behind the scenes, the approach that we're taking is a little different than how we've seen other manufacturers develop their algorithms. So instead of using different ratios of frequency bands, maybe something like the engagement index that NASA's used in some of their publications might be familiar to some people. So it's the ratio of the different high frequency bands versus the low frequency bands to understand how engaged someone might be. And it's a really great way to measure certain cognitive states, and it gives a broad stroke estimation of what's going on. And in fact, we've published papers with MIT using that index and got really great results for measuring engagement in different learning situations. Our approach, though, is a little different. Instead of focusing on frequency bands, these large chunks of data, we look at the raw EEG signal and take over 1,000 features in the raw signal per second. So instead of, let's say the algorithm was, there's an attention algorithm that's power of beta divided by power of alpha. So that would use two features, right? Power of beta is one feature, power of alpha is another feature to understand attention. Really simple algorithm that's been used in the past in different publications. In fact, the engagement index only uses three features. You had theta in there, and now you have the engagement index. But instead of using two or three features, we're looking at over 1,000 features per second. And based on our machine learning models, we're able to quantify how much does someone's raw EEG signal match our model for what a relaxed brain looks like or what a highly engaged brain looks like. And by using these more advanced approaches, we're able to more accurately detect these cognitive states. So the other thing I'd like to point out is there's a variety of approaches to doing this. I think perhaps at the beginning, if you don't have someone on your team that can do the more advanced signal processing, the existing algorithms or frequency band approach can work, and we started there as well. But one of the differentiators is when you can find people who are really good at the machine learning side of things, that combination within the neurotechnology space is uh, it's invaluable. I think people that are doing this work understand, it's a must if you want really good approaches to applying these types of technologies. So that's what we do for FocusCom. And here's an example of what that might look like and how we've been able to simplify things both on the hardware side and also on the algorithm side. The other thing that we've done is created a really easy to use mobile application. So again, one of these other themes that I'm talking about is ease of use and designing products for specific people, right? So not just focusing on the technology and how cool something is, but really designing it for it to be used and it to be used in a way that provides value to your end customer. And I think what I'm speaking to is, and again, this is common in emerging industries, is for there to be a strong focus or interest from the technical space for new technologies. And that makes sense, right? If people are on the frontier of something, they are typically more technically leaning. They're maybe they're researchers or they're focused more on lab work, things like this, or more focused on just hacking the next innovation. And we don't get progress without that type of work. But when it's time to translate it to the marketplace, you need a whole different skill set and perhaps a different team even to help you translate it into real world settings where people will actually use the product. So I think that's really important and a lesson that we've learned that technology, of course, the innovation, we can't make progress without it, but we also need to heavily, heavily understand the user and the use case and make something that's really valuable for them at the end of the day. So our app is designed just for that. Has a similar look and feel as perhaps some really popular meditation apps, if you have ever used Calm or Headspace, except instead of just listening to the meditations, we're actually measuring what's going on in your brain while you do that, and also layer on different games and challenges to help you master your mindset uh, more efficiently and also track objectively your progress over time. So we have a method that we call Learn, Practice, Challenge that teaches people to relax their mind and also has them practice the skill and then challenge themselves to remain calm under pressure. And this is something that we can uniquely do with the neurotechnology. Instead of only teaching people to relax, we can actually create situations where, because we're measuring what's going on, we can challenge people to stay in that focused and calm state while they're being mentally engaged with some sort of cognitive challenge. So the neurotechnology opens up all different types of possibilities when it comes to objectively measuring outcomes, as well as creating different types of experiences that aren't possible without it. And part of the whole process includes partnering with some wonderful people like Dana Santis, who trains a variety of professional athletes and teams in how to use different breathing practices to enhance well-being and performance. And through the use of Focus Calm, you can see Dana here using it. We're able to measure the impact of her interventions that she's been using for decades. But now we're able to measure the impact of these training methods and help people find what works best for them. Similar to how there's different training methods for different athletes or different people like different types of sports or different types of exercise, there's different ways of training your mind that are different between people. So by using the measurement tool of the headband, we're able to help people discover what works best for them. And that's only possible because of the neurotechnology application. And so I just have a few videos here that will show what some of the training looks like. So in the first video, we can see one of Dana's breathing exercises where we're teaching people different patterns of breathing. And you can see the person's focus calm score there at the bottom rise as they're doing their breathing exercise. So you're wearing the headband while you're doing this training for 10 or 15 minutes a day. And as you're doing the training, you can quantify your brain state. So after the person has learned how to do the breathing exercise, perhaps they play this neurofeedback game where the more they get into that relaxed state, the higher the rocket ship goes. So we've gamified the practice part of how to apply what they have learned, let's say from Dana in the breathing exercise. And now we've gamified the practice of that skill by re-entering that focus and calm state. And then we also have different uh, challenges that people can do. So in this one, it's a basketball challenge where the person needs to use their finger to score baskets, but the game will get harder if they can't remain in that calm state. So we want people to be able to transfer the skill of being relaxed into more active environments. It's great to be able to relax on your own in the privacy of your own home on your meditation cushion, but of course the world is chaotic. So how do we help people train to be calm when they need to be on, when they need to be active? So the basketball game is one example, but we have a variety that target different executive functions like working memory, sustained attention, decision making, pattern recognition, the types of skills that you use in your daily life. We train people through those modalities, but also simultaneously request them to stay in a calm and relaxed state in order to get a high score. So all of this is done right through the app. And so I guess the point that I want to make here is when you are layering neurotechnology into your applications, it's going to open up a variety of possibilities that weren't there before. And you can, I mean, there's so much more that we have planned and that we can do with Focus Calm. And it's because of the neurotechnology aspect, it really engages people in a new way. Like, who doesn't want to know kind of where their brain state is while they're doing different practices, at least periodically, to track progress and use that feedback to inform how they might do better. And you can imagine it may be obvious that there's a huge desire for this in the sports space. So we work with professional athletes, we work with their mental skills coach, with their sports psychologists in a variety of different environments. I have them listed here in the Olympic space, professional, and universities, even in high school, to help these individuals master their mindset, learn to be focused and calm, and particularly stay calm under pressure. And the really wonderful trend that we're seeing, and maybe this is useful for people watching this, is greater and greater awareness about mental health and wellness. So not only using these technologies to get better at, let's say, sports, or get better at doing your job, or get better at some sort of performance aspect, but also the wellness aspect. People are more and more becoming aware of its importance, and that's a really kind of positive trend that we can um, work with to help people make positive changes in their lives. So here you can see Logan Ryan, who is in the NFL using Focus Calm, and we have athletes from all different types of professional sports leagues using our technology, also in Formula One as well. Actually, one of our first partnerships, similar to how we partnered with Somos, pair our technology with their platform. We partnered with this wonderful organization called Formula Medicine to pair our technology with their platform, and they were training Formula One race car drivers and other performance athletes in a really unique way at their mental economy gyms. If you have time to check out Formula Medicine, they're a really incredible organization. I recommend that you do. And they've been doing research in this space for decades. And because of our ease of use, both the form factor and the algorithms, the way the headband connects to their platform, we were able to create this wonderful partnership that we've had for, I think, 4 years now, helping them do their work of training these high performance athletes. And again, it's about this combination of performance and wellness. And the neurotechnology opens the door for us to tell this story of helping people change their brains, change their mindsets for holistic improvement. So as you're thinking through your technology and you're thinking through the way to convey it to your customers, to your partners, to the wider market, I think there are really interesting stories to tell, really interesting aspects of the human experience that we're now able to touch because of neurotechnology that we weren't to before. And I think it's important that we really think through how we want to be helping people when we're using neurotechnology. And the better and clearer that we can make that, one, it's going to be more high integrity. It's going to be more aligned with the impact that we want to have. But also, when your story is clear, the impact or message is clear, people are going to resonate with it more. They're going to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And the people that are interested in that impact are going to be attracted to you more. So I'd encourage you to think through the holistic vision or image of what you're trying to create, who you're trying to help, and why. And when you tell that story, I think you'll be able to attract more success and also have the type of impact that you want. Another really important aspect of what we do, and I think a really important aspect for neurotechnology in general, of course, is the research side. So we've done studies with teachers, with nurses, with professional athletes, with general population, with different companies using Focus Calm. And over again, we found really similar results, which is improved well-being, reduced anxiety, reduced burnout after about 20 sessions of use. So each session takes about 15 minutes. It's kind of like getting your exercise in for the day. You do 15 minutes of brain exercise with Focus Calm. If you can get 20 sessions under your belt, those are the people that tend to see these types of benefits. So it's similar to learning any other skill. So there's plenty of applications in neurotechnology that are not about mental wellness or training some skill. But if you are focusing on this area, I think an interesting through line is to talk about it through the lens of training or skill development. People seem to resonate with that. And I think particularly the athletic space, because they understand what it means to train, right? We train our bodies and now we train our minds. If your focus is more on different applications, research space, but even in the medical space, there are applications where this analogy of training or of skill development apply, even for our prosthetic, right? Through a little bit of quick training, you can control the prosthetic even better. And there are applications in other rehabilitation spaces that use this analogy of training of skill development, but through this feedback, through this measurement, through understanding ourselves better, we're able to achieve better outcomes. And we've done these studies with people with attention issues and shown different types of impact on attention abilities. The emotional regulation that comes from learning to focus and relax your brain is really tremendous. And of course, we partnered with, as I've said before, a variety of different organizations and types of athletes and companies. And we even now train people to be Focus Calm coaches so that you can learn a lot about neuroscience and neurotechnology and how to talk about it and how to apply it in your practice. So really the vision is, how can we leverage these platforms to help as many people as possible? And I just want to wrap up here by talking about zooming back out to the big picture, which is that if we can continue to push the potential of neurotechnology, we will open up and unlock more possibilities for consumer applications, for medical devices, for education, for research, for learning. And so I think neurotechnology is still in this really early phase. And if we can focus on unlocking the potential of neurotechnology itself, we'll be able to create a variety of applications in so many different industries that will end up having a terrific effect on our end users and on our customers. So if you're on this journey, I really encourage you and hope you feel inspired to continue on this path and find the right fit between the impact you have and the technology that you want to use. And if you can find that fit, if you can find the right technology or the right technology partner, even that lines up with the impact that you want to have, the customer that you want to have, and the messaging around that mission, I think you'll have tremendous success. If you want to get in touch with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. Again, my name is Max Newlon. I think my contact information may be available through the wonderful hosts of this event. And I just want to thank you for your attention and time as you learn more about our great work at Brainco. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day.